We have to do this under the cover of darkness. There could be eyes watching us. Well, it's only through a stealth mission, really, that we'll have any success intercepting an illegal operator.
I'm on the trail of what some consider the perfect crime. A black market worth more than $20 billion, with little risk of getting caught. I'm told it's like robbing a bank in the middle of the ocean.
So you see these lights out there in the ocean, those are the 6 super trawlers.
One of the reasons that we're all black is so that these super trawlers don't see that a patrol is on the way, that they don't see us leaving the harbor.
Somewhere out there in the darkness are the most prolific wildlife poachers on the planet. Who are they? How do they work? And why is it so hard to stop them? I thought I knew black markets, but I've never seen anything like this.
In this mass expanse of water, we're looking for ships that are doing everything that they can to hide.
I've come to Liberia to understand how illegal fishing works.
These trawlers come in direct conflict with the local fishermen because they're literally stealing fish from the local communities here.
Some countries have the resources to protect their own waters from poachers. Others don't. That's why Liberia has enlisted the help of an international organization called Sea Shepherd. On board are a 30-person crew, the Liberian Coast Guard, and my guide to this joint patrol, 20-year Sea Shepherd veteran Peter Hammerstead. Peter currently heads Sea Shepherd's task force in Africa, a region plagued by overfishing.
What's causing the overfishing?
You have a European fleet that's at a massive overcapacity, 2.5 times what it could sustainably fish in European waters. You have a Chinese distant water fishing fleet that has essentially wiped out fisheries off the coast of China and that is now seeking waters to fish elsewhere. And these two massive fishing fleets from Europe, from China, have congregated in areas where historically there still has been fish, places like West Africa.
There's no global framework that governs what is legal in the fishing industry. That's a huge part of the problem. And in places like West Africa, foreign trawlers can take advantage of patchy regulation, poor enforcement, and the rampant corruption of some local officials. It's a low-risk, high-reward crime. But the Sea Shepherd is trying to change that.
6 miles offshore, no industrial vessels are allowed inside of an inshore exclusion zone. But when there's no patrolling presence at sea, these trawlers routinely turn off their location transponders and they go in.
Every large commercial fishing vessel is equipped with an automatic identification system, or AIS, which transmits its position at sea.
If I were to be fishing illegal inside the exclusion zone as a captain of a ship, I would turn off the AIS.
You'd get close to the prohibited area, that's when you would turn your AIS off, and you wouldn't reappear on AIS until you've left that prohibited area.
In order to directly observe suspicious fishing vessels, we need to get closer to them and avoid being detected. That means we wait for the cover of nightfall. Again.
So these are the vessels that we are looking at. At the moment, they are about 3 miles away from us.
We're super close to this trawler,
Yeah,
right?
yes, we can see.
Oh, you can actually see them?
Yeah.
Oh, it's that light over there.
Yes.
So that's the boat we're going after.
Yes.
The Sea Shepherd crew has found and identified a trawler with a known history of turning off its AIS.
What have you guys been able to find out about this boat?
There's not that much known about this vessel, which is suspicious in and of itself. We know that this vessel has a long history of dark periods where they turn off their location transponder, and we know that they've done some suspicious identity changes, and in especially claiming to be a Somali vessel as soon as a month and a half ago. This is a vessel that we think is most likely flagged to Senegal, but with a beneficial owner that's in Spain.
Peter has a long history with the Spanish. Back in the early 2000s, 1 out of every 3 fish in the Antarctic was being caught illegally, most by Spanish-owned vessels. Some were brought to justice, but 6 trawlers kept at it, evading authorities by changing their colors, their flags, and even their names. They were known as the Bandit 6. The most notorious, a vessel that made millions poaching Chilean sea bass, was known as the Thunder, and Peter helped bring it down.
We found the Thunder fishing in a Kamlar region. They're not licensed to fish down here. There's an Interpol purple notice issued for this vessel. We've told the vessel that they're under arrest, and we've told them to go to Fremantle, Australia.
We saw this vessel emerge out of the fog. That would begin what ultimately would become the longest maritime pursuit in history. The chase stretched across 3 oceans, covering 11,000 nautical miles, and covered 110 days.
And then in the end, what happened?
Ultimately, unable to shake us as the pursuers, the captain of the Thunder decided to sink his own ship in an attempt to destroy the evidence on board.
Were they able to?
As they abandoned the ship, 3 of my crew boarded the vessel with cameras. They were able to seize nautical charts, mobile phones, computer hard drives, evidence that was turned over to Interpol, who then used that evidence to chase down the owner.
She's going down.
Although several crew members of the Thunder were sent to prison, the ship owner, like the owners of the other Bandit 6 vessels, remained free. And Peter is confident that many of those same players are still active in the illegal fishing game today.
At the moment, they cannot see us. They can probably see a very small red light, but not able to ID where we are.
And we've also reduced the speed, so we're matching their speed of about 3 knots, which is a speed indicative of fishing. So if they're just looking at us on radar, they're going to think that we're another trawler.
So it's the perfect way to approach a situation like this, for a covert mission like this one, I guess.
The perfect way to surprise a fishing boat is to pretend that you are a fishing boat. The plan tonight is that we'll be assisting the Liberian Coast Guard. Comball 3 claims to be a shrimp trawler, but may be doing something very, very different.
In 2017, the Camball 3 was approached by another joint patrol conducted by Senegalese fishing authorities and Greenpeace. For more than 20 minutes, Camball 3's captain ignored radio requests to slow down and to allow inspection. Once the Senegalese authorities finally boarded, they discovered Camball 3's nets had been manipulated to create a smaller mesh size, thereby capturing more fish. This is illegal in most of the world. They also discovered that the crew had attempted to undo their net modifications prior to inspection.
How dangerous are these operations?
There is no mission 100%, danger-free or hazard-free. So always go prepared for every situation.
What we are doing carries some risks, but we have the Liberian Coast Guard with us. We have a trained crew, and that's what we are here for.
Being in a small boat on the open ocean at night is an unnerving experience. It's cold, you can't see a thing, and you're surrounded on all sides by deep, dark water. It's scary. You feel small, helpless. As we get closer to the Camball 3, I'm struck by the danger of what we're about to do. Not only are we attempting to board a ship in the open ocean at night, but we have no idea what or who we'll find on board.
This is it, it's time to go on board.
I want the participants out on the staff, 0 meters, let's check the water.
I'm with the crew of the Sea Shepherd and the Liberian Coast Guard as they board a fishing trawler called the Camball 3 that's been exhibiting suspicious behavior.
É português? Olá, eu sou a Mariana. Bem? Como é que se chama? Pedro. Ah, so the captain is actually Portuguese. I just saw his passport right here. Eu também sou portuguesa. E estão a pescar o quê, vocês?
Lagostim, brilhante, caranguejo e... é a nossa pesca.
E tem licença para tudo isso, não é?
Sim, sim.
Quem é o proprietário do barco?
É uma empresa senegalesa.
É do Senegal?
O barco é do Senegal. O barco veio com a autorização do Senegal. A tripulação é quase senegalesa. Eu sou português e o chefe da máquina é marroquino. O resto é...
Tudo do Senegal.
Acho que é tudo Senegal.
E a empresa que é proprietária do barco também é do Senegal?
Sim, sim, sim.
E porquê que está uma bandeira da Espanha ali? Porquê?
É que o patrão, ou seja, o capitão que estava... Eu estou aqui a... Eu vim de casa no dia 22 de abril.
Certo.
Dia 22 de abril. O capitão que estava antes de mim, o barco estava a trabalhar do Senegal, é espanhol.
Então não tem ligação nenhuma à Espanha este barco? Não está ligado à Espanha de maneira nenhuma?
Não, a empresa é senegalesa, o barco tem bandeira senegalesa, é senegalês, o pessoal é tudo senegalês. Eu estou aqui eu vim de casa no dia 22 de abril.
He seems uncomfortable with my questions, which makes me even more curious about what might be found on the boat.
Is this Spanish or Portuguese? It's Spanish, right?
Yeah, this is all Spanish.
No way, this is Portuguese.
No, it's Spanish.
Okay. With their certificates and documentation, this is a list of all of the navigation equipment they have and communication equipment. The list is all in Spanish.
Yeah, 100% Spanish, yeah.
We go over the ship's documents, and it looks like their license allows them to trawl for shrimp and crab. But the Liberian Coast Guard needs to see proof that they're fishing by the rules. So they ask the captain to reel in the nets.
Oh wow, so you can see the fish starting to come in. They're opening up the net. Oh wow. Okay, and this is essentially what they have the actual license to be fishing right now is a shrimp. I mean, I grew up eating this. You know, this is called lagostim in Portugal. I grew up eating this kind of shrimp.
Here, the shrimp is maybe not even 1/10 of what the catch is, right? And that's pretty typical of a shrimp fishery, this enormous amount of bycatch.
Bycatch refers to the fish or other marine species that are caught unintentionally while fishing for a specific target. In this case, shrimp.
To me, you know, looking at some of these and knowing that each of these shrimp in Portugal on a plate at a restaurant, they can sell for about 20 euros each. And you can see the amount of money that can be made, not by these guys, but by the big bosses, right? The people that are actually making the money from, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that we're seeing worth of shrimp on this boat.
And here these guys are making $150 a month. This is not, like, the economics of this does not trickle down.
It's an ugly reality. But still, no sign of illegal activity. So I make my way down to the cargo hold, where the catch is frozen and kept.
So it says cangrejos, crab, gamba, shrimp, and captured in the Atlantic, so very, very vague. And then heading towards Vigo, España, and it says the importer, which is a Spanish name. Have you heard of this company?
Yeah, we've heard of them before. Based in Vigo, which is a city in Galicia, a region of Spain.
You could tell the captain was a bit evasive. He didn't want to say that the real ownership of the vessel is in Spain. There's Spanish language documents on the bridge. There's documentation on the cartons of fish that everything's being exported to Spain, to Vigo, Spain, which is Galicia, which is really the heart of fishing in Spain in particular.
And yet, despite Peter's suspicions, there's no evidence of illegal activity.
Today, the Liberian Coast Guard has to let this ship go.
So the nets of the Camball 3 will soon be back in the water. I spent almost a week on the Sea Shepherd and learned one of the great ironies of the fishing world. That despite the fact that almost 20% of our seafood comes from the black market, it's nearly impossible to catch anyone red-handed. But I'm not giving up. I'm determined to find my way inside this world of illegal fishing.
Yeah, this is the global footprint of fishing, mostly industrial fishing.
That's all the green that I'm seeing right here, all these little pixels.
Each one of these is an area where vessels are fishing. There's 50,000 vessels out there.
50,000.
Doing, yeah.
Industrial, commercial
And,
fishing.
yeah, just the big ones. Yeah, right, 50,000 vessels around the world.
Perhaps as much as 20% of seafood brought into the US comes from the black market. Yet, I'm still searching for a way inside. I'm hoping Paul Woods can point me in the right direction. He's the co-founder of Global Fishing Watch, a nonprofit that uses state-of-the-art data analysis to monitor fishing vessels around the world.
So if you are doing illegal activities out at sea, what are the chances you'll actually be caught in general?
In well-regulated countries, there's a good chance you'll get caught. This is clear because the U.S. is good at managing. In Hawaii, there's lots of fish out here, but the U.S. Navy keeps them out. Whereas in Africa, in West Africa, all of the foreign fleets, Spain and China, Korea and Japan and the United States, they all just fish in there, and they don't keep them out because they're not good at keeping them out. We've had issues where we've seen vessels on the map doing something we know is illegal. We report it to the authorities, and we tell them this vessel was fishing in your waters, it's not on your registry list, it's clearly illegal, and then we find out that they were retroactively granted a license to fish. So this happens routinely.
And why do you think that is?
Well, because there's money to be made in fishing and licensing fishing, and that is more powerful than the need to keep the fishery sustainable.
How frustrating is it for you?
And it's pretty frustrating. What you need is for the fishers to know that eventually, even if they're not caught in the act, they're going to, face consequences for breaking the rules.
But right now, that's not happening. In fact, the criminals are using the globalized nature of the industry to their advantage.
The vessel fishes in one country, lands the catch in another country, it's flagged in a third country, and it's owned by someone in a fourth country, and that's where all the money goes. So how can you even police it? There's 4 countries involved that all have to cooperate in order to actually create consequences for that owner for their illegal actions that happen on the water.
That's why some ship owners take advantage of what's called flags of convenience. They register their vessel in a foreign country with limited oversight, often as a way to skirt regulations at home or avoid detection abroad.
It's a global supply chain. Everything gets mingled and flows around. So once it comes off the boat and goes into that, it's really hard to trace.
The shrimp I saw on the Campbell 3 is bound for Vigo, Spain, home to the largest fishing ports in Europe. Every year, more than 700,000 tons of catch are offloaded here. The fish are sorted, sold, and distributed to countries around the globe, including the US. It's a massive operation, high-tech, spotlessly clean, rigorously controlled. Every crate of fish is weighed, cataloged, and barcoded, so buyers know exactly when and where it was caught. That's the theory, anyway. In reality, any one of the hundreds of species on sale here could have been transferred at sea from an illegal fishing vessel to a vessel carrying the paperwork to make its cargo look legitimate. Once the contraband fish has been mixed with the legal catch in a ship's freezers, it's impossible to tell them apart. It's one common way that illegal seafood gets laundered into the legal supply chain. But I haven't come to Spain for the fish. I've come for the fishermen. the ones that have given Galicia its rather notorious reputation.
Galicia's always been the smuggling portal for Europe. They've been involved in trafficking not just of fish, but of drugs and tobacco and other illicit products as well. The companies behind vessels involved in the poaching of Patagonian and Antarctic toothfish, they're known as the Galician Mafia.
I want to find someone who's worked on these illegal vessels and knows the secrets of this dirty trade firsthand. After asking around a bit, I meet a retired fisherman who says he'll give it to me straight.
En un caladero que le llama 54, porque la patrullera estaba en tierra. Estábamos a robar.
¿Y ustedes sabían que era ilegal?
Es que nosotros lo cargamos nosotros y lo pescamos nosotros, ¿cómo no lo íbamos a saber? El español es el hombre más ladrón del mundo. En cuestión de pesca, sí. Nos salen en todas partes del mundo, por puercos que somos. Por puercos.
Perico is a retired fisherman. He says he spent 35 years working on Spanish vessels in the frigid North Atlantic. Perico tells me that his career at sea was marked by constant illegal activity.
En un caladero que le llama 54, entrábamos el viernes por la noche y salíamos el domingo a la noche, porque la patrullera estaba en tierra. Estábamos a robar. Esos 2 días o 3 a robar.
¿Redes son ilegales?
Claro, son ilegales las mallas, para que no escape ninguna gamba. Y eso es robar.
¿Y para dónde iba ese pescado?
Se vende clandestino. Dinero negro, para el armador. No para nosotros que lo trabajamos. No, para nosotros no. Para el armador. Y el armador no llenaba los bolsillos.
¿Y ustedes sabían que era ilegal?
Es que nosotros lo cargamos nosotros y lo pescamos nosotros, ¿cómo no lo íbamos a saber? Nosotros teníamos que hacer lo que mandaba el patrón. Pero la culpa no es del patrón, la culpa es del armador.
El armador le manda, ya.
Claro.
But when I press Perico for the names of the worst offenders, he clams up.
Y yo no quiero descubrirlos ni nada, porque a lo mejor mañana le tengo que tocar a la puerta para que me dé otro pan para un hijo mío, que anda a la mano, ¿entiendes? Yo no quiero descubrirlos.
And there's the rub. Spanish fishing is, at its heart, a family business. A very big family business that keeps its secrets close. But then, a new lead. Remember the Bandit 6? One of which the Sea Shepherd chased for 110 days before the captain purposefully sank his boat? Well, I was able to connect with a local journalist who has access to a treasure trove of documents relating to the investigation of those vessels and the ensuing court case. If I want to find a source deeper in this illegal fishing world, this could be my chance.
How does the fact that we're talking about these, very wealthy companies with fleets of boats and fancy websites and a lot of lawyers, how does that complicate matters for you in terms of being a journalist and investigating this?
I have to be careful, and I need some protection.
Can you tell me a little bit about what all these documents are?
Those documents are the outcome of probably the best investigation on illegal fishing. 8,000 pages.
8,000 pages.
8,000 pages. The investigation was led by Interpol together with the Spanish Guardia Civil on the Bandit 6.
I mean, they were caught red-handed. There's plenty of evidence that what they were doing was illegal, right?
Everything is proved here in all the documents that those Bandit 6 were committing crimes.
Incredibly, the Spanish Supreme Court overturned the case against the ship owners of the Bandit 6. They decided that while the Bandit 6 did commit illegal activity, the courts did not have jurisdiction because those illegal acts occurred in international waters.
Here you have all the coordinators of the fishing activities from Galicia.
Wow, so these are all the names and contacts?
Yeah,
All
that's it.
coordinators?
That's it.
Oh, this is great.
In this photo class, you have all the phone numbers and some emails of those guys, so you can try.
So they've all actually been indicted, these?
Yeah. We have the name of some offshore companies used by those guys of the Bandit 6.
There's evidence of money laundering in this one.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And here you have the whole list of the crewmen from this boat. You have the captain, the chief engineer, the cook, and then all the officers. There's phone numbers for this one too, passport numbers, lots of photos, bank accounts. There's just so much here. You see that the chief engineer and the officer and the captain are all Spanish, and there are Spanish numbers associated with them.
This is big. Lists of names and numbers of people directly involved in the Bandit 6, and who might know what illegal activities are still ongoing.
Hola.
Sí, soy yo.
Hola, soy Mariana van Zeller de National Geographic.
No me interesa que no me interesa hablar de eso.
Solo para escuchar un poco de la parte de ustedes, la historia de ustedes.
No quiero hablar de eso.
Calling another person that we know worked one of the Bandit 6 boats.
Hola.
Hola, buenos días.
Mira, aquí no vive y este teléfono no es de buenos días. Hola.
Me llamo Mariana van Zeller, soy...
¿Cuál es el delito nuestro? ¿Cuál fue nuestro delito?
Fíjense.
Hola.
Mariana van Zeller, soy una periodista de National Geographic.
Pero no me interesa, ¿eh? De acuerdo, gracias. Buenos días.
Ok.
No.
Pick up.
Disculpe, en estos momentos no podemos atender su llamada. Inténtelo de nuevo más tarde.
2.5 hours now that we've been making call after call.
Hola.
Hola, soy Mariana de National Geographic. Que estamos haciendo ese documental sobre los Bandit 6 y los barcos de pesca.
Sí, a ver, dime. ¿Qué quieres?
Me gustaría hablar con usted, encontrarme con usted, explicar mejor qué estamos haciendo. Hola.
Juan, a las 2 estoy en Vigo.
A las 2 está en Vigo. Ok, entonces sí, ¿nos podemos encontrar hoy? Muy bien, ok. Entonces a las 2. Chao, gracias. So today, this afternoon, here in Vigo. Great.
I finally secured a face-to-face meeting with a former crew member from a Bandit 6 fishing boat. He's texted me a location on the outskirts of the city.
But I think this is it. Okay, here we go. I think it's here. Hola. Hola. Usted es el primero que ha aceptado hablar con nosotros. Por eso, gracias. ¿Por qué dice que sí de hablar con nosotros?
Claro, no te prometo nada. Todo depende de cómo se desarrollen las preguntas. Puede que se termine a entrevista o que no se termine, no sé.
The man I'm talking to, we'll call him Luis, spent time working on one of the Bandit 6 boats, as well as dozens of other Spanish vessels throughout his career. He's my key to understanding how illegal fishing works at an international level.
¿Alguna vez ha trabajado en un barco que estaba utilizando redes ilegales que no?
Sí. Sí, era habitual. E cando aparecía a patrullera, cambiaba a rede. Nadie respeta a normativa, nadie respeta. O tamaño das mallas, as vedas, cando unha especie está en veda.
¿Y usted están pescando ilegalmente? ¿Qué hacen con ese pescado? lo esconden
Sí, se esconde. Sí.
de inmediato.
Dobles fondos. Cada vez que...
Dobles fondos, los barcos tienen dobles fondos.
Nas bodegas, sí, claro, sí.
La patrullera puede venir, chequear,
E ao mellor non encontran.
porque está abajo en una barca
Claro,
falsa.
exactamente. Sí, sí.
Y usted la ha visto con sus ojos,
Sí.
lo ha visto cuando...
Barcos en que facíamos todo.
We have no knowledge that any of the ships we boarded had double bottoms or illegal nets. But it sounds like that was standard operating procedure on the Spanish ships that Luis worked on. And that wasn't the only way they skirted regulations.
Mira, puxe a explicar un caso a unha pesca que se chama a caballa. Eso está regulada, cada barco pode pescar, por exemplo, 5.000 kilos ao día. Facíamos, en vez de 5.000 traíamos 10.000. Facíamos dúas descargas, íbamos a un puerto, botábamos os 5.000 kilos e despois navegábamos ao outro puerto, pescábamos o doble do permitido, todos os días, e descargábamos os outros 5.000 no outro puerto ese.
Y los armadores, los dueños de los barcos, de las empresas, ellos todos saben que se pase esas cosas ilegales.
Sí, claro, sí.
¿Y por qué lo hacen?
Por avaricia, por codicia, por dinheiro, parece.
Sí, cuando lo hacen, ¿hay un riesgo o el riesgo es muy pequeño?
É pequeno, pero bueno, a repercusión sería económica.
O el profit es más grande haciendo las cosas ilegales de
Sí.
la multa que pagar.
Sí. Salen beneficiados sempre.
Si usted le dice a los armadores que yo no quiero hacer ese trabajo ilegal, ¿qué hacen ellos?
Se non queres, non vas, se non, quedaste na casa mirando a televisión e vai oito.
Pierdes tu trabajo.
Claro, é que se non o faz, tens que poñer nunha boca do metro tocando a guitarra para que che den unhas monedas. Non hai salida. Non hai outra salida.
Luis explains that within the fishing industry, it's the ship owners who have the power to make change. But those are the same folks who are profiting the most of the status quo.
¿Y piensa que ellos saben que están perjudicando el pescado del futuro?
Si o saben, pero non son conscientes, non pensan a largo plazo, solo pensan no beneficio inmediato. A largo plazo, acabas perdendo. Da moralidade, da cultura. Non vas a cambiar por moita norma que poñas.
He's right. The real issue is not the need for more regulations or enforcement. It's our relationship to the oceans themselves. I've been so focused on trying to understand the black market, boat owners exploiting a disorganized international system, fishermen using altered nets, captains turning off AIS trackers, that I've overlooked the obvious, a bigger, more devastating truth about industrial fishing.
The impact of illegal fishing is enormous, but it is relatively small compared to the impact of legal fishing.
Sylvia Earle is an oceanographer and the founder of Mission Blue, a nonprofit dedicated to protecting our oceans. She doesn't mince words when it comes to her opinions about the global fishing industry.
This is the biggest wildlife trade on the planet. We're waging war on the ocean. We're doing it with a big smile on our face, thinking, this is great. We have technologies now. They can go to places we couldn't go before, finding fish that were not accessible before.
Her words echo so much of what I've seen over the last few months.
Shrimp is maybe not even 1/10 of what the catch is, right? And that's pretty typical of a shrimp fishery, this enormous amount of bycatch. I always refer to bycatch as the invisible victims of industrial fishing.
The invisible victims of industrial fishing. In other words, a waste of animal life like I've never seen before. It's difficult to watch, and even harder to fathom that it's all legal, happening every day and night on trawlers around the globe.
The stocks of tropical tuna in the Indian Ocean have been overfished.
Experts say human exploitation of the world's oceans is passing the point of no return.
Endless shrimp. It's as much as you like anyway.
Huge wealth of creatures and habitats are under threat, decimated by overfishing.
Awesome mouth-watering snow crab dinner for only $9.99. Have it all this summer with the Crab Daddy Feast.
También cogemos el pequeño, pero no da tiempo a reproducirse. Y así estamos sin pescado en alta mar. Estamos sin pescado por su motivo. Estamos acabando con todo. Con todo estamos acabando.
Industrial and commercial fishing has scaled up so much that it really is a lot more like mining than fishing. These nets are enormous, and they just take everything. All the fish within a kilometer out of the water all at once. You are literally mining the ocean of fish, of all life.
We have the capacity to deplete wildlife on a scale that is unprecedented. Technology is available to almost everyone, everywhere, to find, capture, consume, or market ocean wildlife on a scale that is simply, no matter how you want to measure it, it's not sustainable.
It's this future that has me worried. But even today, there are plenty of warning signs if you know where to look. The experts I spoke with pointed me to the coast of Ghana, where a local fishing community has been transformed in ways I'm told I won't believe.
We got a call late last night saying to be at the port at 5 a.m. this morning because they had something that they wanted to show us. We're still not sure what we'll be able to film or see, but all we know is that we're meeting this person in about 5 minutes.
The call came from a local fisherman turned crime boss, who's known simply as the chairman. I was introduced to him by a contact of mine, but the chairman has been difficult to pin down.
I see a couple of boats with lights here, people working inside. Here? Is this it? I guess this is it. Yeah, come in.
Looks like that's the chairman on the phone. His name is Justice.
You know, we got to be very fast.
Yeah, very fast. We're very fast. Okay, we have to go, guys.
We passed by one fishing boat that strangely doesn't have any fishing gear. They're clearly unhappy about our cameras.
This is one of the boats that came out from sea today. Can we stop there and talk to them?
It's another fishing boat, again, with no fishing gear.
Oh, wow. Look at that. It's all big blocks of frozen fish. So the whole boat is all full of that?
Yeah.
These Ghanaians used to fish for themselves, but an influx of foreign trawlers has caused fish stocks to plummet. So now, in a perverse twist of their livelihood, these fishermen go out to sea and buy blocks of fish that have been caught and frozen by the trawlers themselves.
This came out
Yes.
from the sea?
Yeah.
From the trawlers?
Yeah. They rather throw it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are picking
So they would throw it away and instead the fishermen go out and pick it. Oh, how far are the Chinese vessels?
12 hours.
12 hours to get there.
Through forces beyond his control, the chairman has been dragged into an illegal seafood trade known as psycho.
You have been working as a fisherman for a very
I'm
long
an
time.
artisanal fisherman.
And you're originally an artisanal
Yeah.
fisher. And so, since this is illegal, why did you agree to talk to us?
Well, I don't understand. People are painting psycho as evil. It's not
It's not.
evil. This affects a lot.
Right, that it helps a lot of people.
Yeah.
So what do you say to people who say what the trawlers are doing is that they're destroying the oceans, they're killing all this fish, and you're contributing to that because you're buying this bycatch?
Whatever the fishing is, you'll get all sorts of fish. And so they take their target, they give us the rest, or they dump it. So rather to feed the nation, instead of and dumping it, which is the best?
The reality is even more depressing. What started out as foreign trawlers selling their bycatch has become so established and so profitable that many foreign ships are now purposefully targeting local fish, which of course has only made the overfishing problem worse. This is the trickle-down effect of our global fishing industry. A local population so powerless to stop the overfishing that it's now been forced to embrace a black market.
Oh wow, so this is all the...
Yeah, this is the psycho fish.
Another one there, here.
Make no mistake about what you're looking at here. This is a fishing town that now survives on frozen fish.
I mean, it's incredible. You look around and all of it is basically psycho. You can see it's just boat after boat, and all of them are filled with fish, and they're bringing all the fish now to shore. They cover it with blankets to keep it cold, to keep it frozen. Oh, wow, look at that! Holy... That is insane. So much. So you can see how big this boat is, and then every single one of these basically holes is filled with frozen fish.
See the number of people depending on this. Do you expect all these people to go and steal? This can save a lot of thousands of people, and you are saying it's no good. Psycho is not evil. It's not something being hidden. It's open.
Yeah, it's out. It's open.
We can't do this forever. There will come a point where we don't have fish. And the people that will suffer are the people that go out to fish every day to feed their families. But it won't be the owners of the companies that took all the fish. They'll just go do something else.
See the catch very poor. What do they do? How do we survive? So they do illegal fishing. They do hit and run fishing.
I'm almost embarrassed to admit how blind I've been to the ugly truth about our global fishing industry. But I can't unsee what I've seen on this journey. The industry needs to change. We all do.
Taking wild animals from the ocean and turning it into money or products. There's a cost. There's a cost to everyone. It's not free.